Yeah.
I wonder why. Why Colombia?
Well, there have been a lot of protests, pro-Palestine protests in Colombia.
Why Colombia? Why Colombia? That's a good question. Does anybody know? Does anybody remember the stated reason by the Trump admin? Didn't they do Colombia? Am I making this up, or didn't they do it because of DEI? Didn't Trump say, or wasn't that was it in an executive order or something where they were like, they have DEI, so they're part of the university people that we're going after? I feel like I saw that.
Colombia.
There she is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the girl.
Yeah, because they cut funding from the school as well. They threatened to pull 400 million grants. I don't think it was just a threat. I think they actually went through with it now.
Because we're going to have to make a decision. Because until we do that and we start to actually apply the law as it's meant to be applied and put certain laws in place, then these type of things are just going to continue to happen.
I think they're doing it on purpose. And I think they're trying to build up a lot of passion in these people for being disruptive, and a lot of passion for protest and passion for, and then they weaponize it. I really think they
yeah, how could you possibly hate Elon Musk unless you're literally being paid to hate him? There's no way there's any organic dislike for Elon Musk, right?
The other side. And one thing one of the kids said to me was, as he was trying to get into the library, he was like, you know, most of the people who are doing this, they're not from UCLA. They're not from this college campus.
Right.
What are they doing here?
Right.
He goes, look, fair enough. If you want to protest and you go to UCLA, that's all cool, whatever. Number one, don't stop me from getting an education when my parents have paid X amount for it. But number two,
I forget, how many degrees does Charlie Kirk have? I'm guessing he's got like over, what, 50, 60 college degrees? Because we're saying, I guess, what, he goes to every single school that he sets his events up at? Or Steven Crowder as well, right? Crowder must have who knows how many degrees, because he must be doing the Change My Mind events only at schools that he's currently at.
I know he doesn't go to my college.
Right.
Why is he here?
Well, what is, I mean, old people can go to college. What?
Yeah, protesting.
It's being paid.
Yeah, and you're right. And there are a lot of foreign governments that want this shit to be going on.
In what court was he convicted and for what?
This individual was an S-13 ringleader. This individual was also engaged in human trafficking.
He wasn't. He wasn't. That's what she means to say. Oh, convicted in court? When you say convicted, what do you mean by in court? What? Next question.
And I'm glad you brought up this point again, because I would like to point out that if you just saw the headline from the insane, failing Atlantic magazine this morning, you would think...
This, guys, how do conservatives feel? They have to feel weird. Like, it's so blatantly fascist.
Why Colombia? Destiny asked, almost casually. Didn't they do it because of DEI, he speculated, fumbling for a half-remembered narrative like a man grasping for the remote during a fire? Wasn't that in an executive order or something? And just like that, the truth hovered in the room, ignored, not because Destiny was wrong to ask, but because the answer is far simpler and far more radioactive than anyone wanted to say out loud. Colombia was targeted because it allowed students to protest Israel, not America, not white people, Israel. And that's the line you're not allowed to cross, not without consequences, not in this regime. This wasn't law enforcement. This wasn't about campus safety. This was obedience enforcement, Zionist obedience, dressed up as national security. You could protest the U.S. government, call white people colonizers, burn the flag, and nothing would happen to you. But you chant Free Palestine on the wrong patch of grass, and suddenly it's a federal emergency. Destiny himself confirmed what happened. They threatened to pull $400 million. I don't think it was just a threat. I think they actually went through with it now. They sure did. $400 million pulled from Columbia University. Not because they violated civil rights law, not because of a court ruling, not because they were convicted of wrongdoing, but because they didn't shut down speech fast enough when it offended the sensitivities of a foreign government's loyalists. And this wasn't about protecting Jewish students. Nah, why does protecting Jewish students need to be said at all? Shouldn't they be treated the same as everyone else, not more threatened, not less, just equal protection under the law? The fact that people are afraid to say even that tells you exactly how deep the fear of crossing Zionist power runs. You're not allowed to say equal. You're supposed to say exceptional. Konstantin Kisin, ever the opportunist, started sounding like a congressional aide with a superiority complex. We're going to have to make a decision, put certain laws in place. Laws for what exactly? We already have laws against harassment, trespassing, violence, and incitement. What's missing? Konstantin Kisin didn't say, because there is nothing missing. He just wants new government power to make the uncomfortable go away. Destiny is no better. Biden forcing needles into people's arms, he called that public health. Now that Trump is doing crackdowns for Israel, Destiny pretends to care about free speech, but the only consistency here is authoritarianism. He just wants to be the one writing the rules. And that's the hypocrisy. Destiny cheered when Biden used government muscle to force mRNA compliance, suppress medical dissent, and erase critics from public platforms. Just comply was the mantra. But now that Trump's turning the screws for Israel, Destiny wants to pretend he's the conscience of the republic. Too late. You already applauded fascism. You're just mad you weren't consulted this time. Then came the same recycled boogeymen. Destiny relayed a student's complaint during a UCLA protest. Most of the people doing this aren't even from UCLA. What are they doing here? Great question. Let's ask Charlie Kirk. Let's ask Steven Crowder. Are they current students too? How many Ivy League degrees does Charlie have at this point? Because he seems to show up to every single campus protest with a donor-funded camera crew and zero enrollment status. The right loves to pretend protest is only legitimate when it's local, unless they're the ones parachuting in for a photo op and a $10,000 speaking fee. One side brings signs, the other brings a lighting crew, and of course there's the cherry on top, Konstantin said, mocking the hysteria. There are a lot of foreign governments that want this shit to be going on. Sure, like which ones? And even if that were true, why is it only a scandal when the protests make Israel look bad? You didn't see DHS rounding up students for anti-American protests, for anti-white slogans, for screaming ACAB in the middle of D.C. But now suddenly we need AI tools and ICE raids because some students don't want Lockheed Martin to arm a genocide. It all fits the new formula. If you criticize Israel, you're a security threat. If you're foreign, you're deportable. If you're a university that doesn't crush dissent, you're defunded. And if you question it all, you're anti-Semitic. Then came the Leavitt moment, a full-blown propaganda meltdown. The Karoline Leavitt MS-13 moment in the podcast was a mockery of her press briefing performance, specifically when she tried to justify a deportation blunder by falsely claiming the guy was an MS-13 ringleader involved in human trafficking. Here's the background they were referencing. Leavitt had been asked why a legal resident or peaceful protester was deported, and rather than admitting fault, she panicked on camera and started throwing out dramatic accusations. MS-13, trafficking, etc. Problem was she had zero evidence and couldn't name a court conviction, a charge, or anything solid. Just buzzwords. If someone is here illegally, they do not get due process, but you are out of your mind if you think that means I support imprisoning them with hardened gang members when that's not what they are. In the clip, Destiny skewers her by sarcastically saying, he wasn't. That's what she means to say. Convicted in court. When you say convicted, what do you mean by in court? It was a straight roast. They were calling out how Leavitt, and by extension the administration, is fabricating criminal charges after the fact to save face after unjustified arrests or deportations. Pure deflection wrapped in tough-on-crime theater. This is how fascism works. It invents enemies, silences dissent, and uses security as a club to enforce ideology. And what makes it worse? Congress. Congress, which now hosts unconstitutional hearings, dragging university presidents into public inquisitions to explain why they didn't punish students for breaking zero laws. These are private institutions. They're not subject to federal speech codes. Congress's only job is to legislate, not enforce its personal politics on campus disciplinary boards. There was no legislative purpose to those hearings, no draft bill, no committee findings, just state intimidation, pure and simple. And it doesn't matter that the president changed or the party label flipped. The institution is the same. It's not about Trump. It's not about Biden. It's about the machine and who it really serves. So let's stop pretending this is about free speech, public safety, or anti-Semitism. It's about obedience, obedience to Israel, to Zionist narratives, and to a political class that will burn the Constitution to the ground if it means preserving their influence. Destiny wanted to know why Columbia, because Columbia lets students speak freely about the wrong government. And in 2025, all it takes to be made an example.